All right, here we go. Friday. We like us some Fridays. Hope yesterday was awesome. Hope it was really, really good. Hope tomorrow is twice as good. We're going to talk about how to win today. So, Julie, well, let's talk yesterday real quick. That was a good call, right?
Yeah, it was very good, I thought.
Yeah. And then I had to delete it. Cool. Tell you guys about that later. Anyway, we'll revisit that because it was an important topic and a lot of people have a lot of conversations about it. Today, there was another topic. A gentleman responded to a post I had recently. Might even been yesterday. I don't know. Whenever, saying he's tired of the grind of sales, and he doesn't think he can do it anymore. Okay. I was thinking about it, and then it hit me. I wonder how many realtors out there are thinking the same exact. Hey, Andrew, are thinking the same thing, or struggling with the exact same feelings. Right. I'm tired of the grind. It's contacts. My coach, contacts, appointments, right? And not a problem when you're getting them. Not a problem when you're closing deals. Love contacts, love accountability when I got it rolling. And but right now there's fewer deals. And that means you're going further, longer, all that stuff between contacts, between appointments, between closings, between all that. And yeah, that becomes a grind. That becomes a massive grind. And so what you got to do though, is when that happens, when it becomes a grind, and it's all right because you got to grind. I mean, that's part of it, right? Grind time. We talk about it here all the time. But just be a little bit careful when it becomes the grind. Every day's the grind, blah, blah, blah. And the way you do it, at least when I get into this, I'll call it a malaise. Don't let it become a mindset. I'm just going to grind today, because that means you're pushing a rock. You're Sisyphus pushing the rock up the hill, and eventually the rock's going to get too heavy, roll back on you. Okay? Got to be very careful. Don't do that. And all these tough warriors, you got to grind. Okay. Let's see where they're at in a little while, right? Mm-hmm. The way you get around it, though, is through process. Nick Saban created a massive career on this at Alabama football, or anywhere football. And it was, you look at anything he does, it's process. Mm-hmm. The game itself will take care of itself. Work the process and you'll be fine. So I started thinking about it. What is the process? A grind is contacts, appointments, close, dollars, counting, right? Anything you can count, anything you measure gets counted, right? That's how you win. Get that. But the process is a little bit different. There's nuance to it. It's doing the stuff.
It's a
right?
rhythm.
Doing the stuff. Yeah, rhythm, a flow, it's all that. But it's the process is in my view. All right. And there's a lot of different. Hold 1 second. I got to do something. Please hold. It's all about security and privacy. I saw somebody climbing up on a building over here, and I made me nervous. Anyway, back to process. So in my world, real estate wise, the process is this: instead of contacts, something more or less, how many conversations? Let's just have a conversation. Take the pressure off of a check mark on a sheet and put it down as a conversation. How many people can I talk to, owners, in a neighborhood I want to dominate? How many people can I talk to about what's going on in real estate? Right? What is the state of play real estate wise in the real estate industry as it relates to that specific neighborhood, that specific owner, and that specific home? All right. And the way you do that is you preview the properties. All right. So your process is in the afternoon, you're going to go preview properties. Okay. Not a lot of stress there. You just go preview properties. You look at them, you get to know them inside out, what they smell like, feel like, how they hit you, all that stuff. Right? Knowledge, expertise, skill. Right? And then a couple of days a week, you're studying the market trends for those neighborhoods. Right? We talk about this all the time. So now you got knowledge, and you've learned some stuff about what's going on real estate wise overall and in the neighborhood, right? Macro and micro, boom. And now you're just simply talking to people about real estate again, right? What you've learned, what you've seen, what you know, and you're just kind of equating it to the market and where that owner is in the cycle of owning. Ready to buy, ready to sell, it's going to hang on to it, all that. Now you're becoming the wise real estate expert to a neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And once you get that whole vibe going, the grind disappears and you start getting come list me calls. All right. Now the grind's still going to be there in the sense that you have to make the calls, you have to do the previews, and you have to do the study. All right. But I think when you take away the counting, all right, and that's dangerous because there's accountability that's absolutely 100% required. And if you cannot hold yourself accountable, you're going to need somebody else. And they're going to say, how many contacts did you make? How many previews did you go on? And how many hours did you study or what did you study? All right. But I think, in my view, when I get into just the grind, you're making check marks and really not much more than that. Yeah. Right? You're not going deep enough. Conversations end quickly so you can go get the next contact rather than learning about what's going on. You guys feel me on this? So when you start feeling burdened by the grind, shift your focus to the process. The process is being a realtor, a professional realtor, as opposed to a telemarketer or a door knocker or a home shopping network if you're going on live something, okay? Become a professional realtor where you know about the market, you have skills, experience, knowledge, expertise, and then be willing to share it with as many people as you can figure out how to do that. And the most efficient way is, hi, my name is, or hi, my name is, right? And then it starts to dilute out from there. So, yeah, if you're feeling stress of sales, my guess is because you're not having a lot of sales, because there isn't as many sales. So be careful on the grind because it'll burn you out. It'll wear you out, grind you.
Everyone gets burned out.
Right? Everybody does. So, but if you turn it slightly, your focus to the process of learning about a neighborhood, who owns there, what the homes are like, what makes them different, same, what the market trends are, wide as well as to that neighborhood, you become a trusted expert, somebody who people will feel confident coming to you. Takes a while.
John, you're touching on something, because here's what I've seen. I've been doing
the Michael Jackson, and so I take offense.
Did
I say that?
So I've done real estate for 9 years, been in human and life performance for 33 years. And people get burned out, and a lot of good realtors wash out, not because they're not good technicians, not because they can't string together a deal. It's because of the emotional wear. And what you're talking about really comes to, they've lost their curiosity. They've stopped learning. And so they get hardening of the categories.
Well, take it away from being a task.
Yeah.
Make it more about learning something.
And so if you can come back and say, how do I recapture fascination? Find a new area of discovery, fascination about yourself, the process, the game. I think a lot of people lose that, and they're just going through the emotions. Like you said, they don't have the systems and processes that keep fostering curiosity and fascination. Because when you're in wonder and when you're in curiosity, it's hard to get bored.
Yeah,
it
you
is.
Don't get bored.
You don't get bored. And that's what happens, is we lose that fascination. And this is a fascinating time. Or you can, and I remember I had a whole year spurred on by I got to see Jim Rohn live, and he made the comment. He says, you get to choose between frustration or fascination. And I remember for 1 year, it was just, I will be fascinated today. And I looked for fascinating things, and it changed the whole trajectory of that year and going forward.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Julie, you have any experience with this?
I was thinking about when I was in college, I was a blackjack dealer.
You were
And
what?
a blackjack dealer.
Oh,
And one of the things I learned, I was always fascinated by how people would sit there and lose, is the brain needs to win only 1 in 5 times to think it's winning.
Mm.
So in 4 out of 5 times, that's a whole sidebar on the blackjack and changing what you bet, but to win. But what I'm thinking about when you're talking about the grind is you have to create wins every day. So whatever it is you're doing.
okay, yeah, because you're not winning enough, right? You're not selling enough. That's the win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got
What's
it.
the name of this podcast? Let's win the day. So
Yeah.
how do you win today? How do you win in the next hour? How do you win? I'm going to make 5 calls. And then when you make 5 calls, that's a win.
Great point.
I'm going to get 1 appointment. Then you get 1 appointment. That's a win. I'm going to knock on 5 doors. You have to create wins every step of the way in the process. Otherwise, you burn out. And in this business, no matter what you're doing, it's easy to burn out if you're not, as Mark says, fascinated and interested. But you have to create wins in everything you do in every step of the process so that you're always mentally winning.
True.
And then the rest will come because you only control the actions. You don't control the outcome.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think control the actions, not the outcome, goes back to fall in love with the process, not the result.
And make the process, everything in every step in the process, look at the process, break it down and say, how can I win with whatever the thing is in the process?
Love it.
Mm.
Love it. Andrew, tell us something from your perspective.
I think it's quality over quantity. When you were talking earlier about the contacts versus the appointments and so forth, I remember going to a convention a few years ago. This is probably more than that, probably 10, 15 years ago. But my goal was to walk down in the lobby and give my card to 50 people and get their contact information. And I went down in the lobby. I was there probably about 15 minutes, and I was talking to this one lady, and my heart started racing. I was like, okay, I got to get 45 more of these cards out. And then I realized, I took a step back and go, wait, isn't it about that I actually remember this person and know why? Because I used to get cards all the time. I get back, how did I even meet this person? So I started changing my focus after that experience.
If you guys don't know, Andrew is a master at promotion. It's unbelievable. I saw you speak. When was that? A week ago? 2 weeks ago? So good.
Yeah, it was about 2 weeks ago.
So good. Destiny, you're fairly new at this. Say that every time. Someday you're going to be 40 years into it, and I'm going to keep saying it. How about you? Have you felt the grind yet?
I have, but I think for me, it's, next to my workstation at home, I've got a sticky note that says, be curious. Mm-hmm. And I watched a video. It was an interview last week, and I was fascinated because the guy was like, sell me a pen, and mm-hmm. everybody was like, oh, this pen writes great. It's this brand. And he says, you've got to learn to ask questions, ask what about the pen is important. Ask what about the way it writes is important to that person you're trying to sell it to. And so that's what I've started implementing in my calls is being curious enough to say, what would you do with the equity that you have in your home? If you could do anything with it, what would you do? And it stumps people because it gets their gears turning and thinking, well, maybe I do need to pull this equity out. Maybe I do need to sell and buy bigger. Or
do you think when you start asking questions like that in their mind, do you go from a salesperson to some sort of an advocate?
Yes, for sure. Because I'm not selling, I'm helping them achieve a goal. Yeah, that's how I look at it.
In a bunch of barriers, either get a bridge or open, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you get actually real conversations.
Mm-hmm.
That's important. Now, that caused me to think of something else. When you do the previews, when you study the market trends, your confidence, your knowledge, and your expertise all go up. And it allows you to ask different questions, better questions, and give different answers and better answers, which perpetuates the whole thing.
And that's another thing you can make a game of that you can win. Both what Destiny said is getting the answer to a certain question, trying to get, so that you get a win if, even though the people don't give you an appointment, you get them to answer a question. Or, as Andrew said, he was trying to get, 50 cards, maybe get 50 cards and something about that person that you remember or something else you can do. You're making phone calls and it doesn't seem to be going well. Make the goal to get 18 no's. I'm going to call people until I get 18 people that say no to me on the phone, not that don't answer the phone, but say no. So you make a game of getting no.
So what do? You say, is this Bill Johnson? No. Oh, there's one.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
create a bingo card. I mean, you
Make
could
a game
create a
of no.
bingo card of got cussed out. Yay!
There's one.
Because when you make it a game, then you win.
Mhm.
And your mind now gets that endorphin that makes you want to keep playing, and then you're winning. So even though you're not winning at the game, ultimately you will win at the game. But when you're in the grind and you're down in the bottom, and you're trying to climb out of that crevasse, make it a game so that you can be winning along the way.
Mhm.
And let's just be clear. I'm old school. A game requires a score if there's going to be a winner. And if you're going to play a game, there better be a friggin' winner. All right. So it goes back to the grind. You're going to have to grind. Be prepared.
Mhm.
Because there's days you're going to feel like doing it and there's days you're going to not feel like doing it. It's when the grind becomes most days, if not all days, that the danger starts to occur. And I just think that if you focus more on the process, you're going to have to grind less.
John, think about one of the greatest movies, in my estimation, is Groundhog Day. And just the monotony of how he was like, I'm done. And he goes through all the different ways of trying to kill himself. But then he starts looking for the meaning in the moment. And he gets fascinated with the process.
Yeah.
And changed everything.
Telling you
I have a
guys.
book that I recommend when people are feeling, in the grind and burned out and overwhelmed. It's called Go for No. Go for No. It's a really super easy, quick book. I mean, I think it's maybe a 90-minute read.
Yeah.
And it talks about you win the game by getting people to say no to you.
Love it. Sounds like my dating career in college. I won. You should see I was like the biggest winner there. Have you said no to that guy yet? Twice. That's the way it was. So at any rate, so let's talk about how you're going to win this thing. Win the day today. I think what you could do and should do is I'd figure out, I'm a broken record on this. I'd figure out a neighborhood I want to dominate. I would figure out who the owners are in there. So first thing you do, let's just start here. When you leave here today, figure out the neighborhoods, because there's very few neighborhoods that are big enough for one to be enough. So figure out the neighborhoods you want to dominate. And I would probably create some sort of continuum. Low price, high price, and something in the middle. All right. So you cover all markets because not all of them will be rolling at the same time. So give yourself an opportunity. Figure out the markets you want to dominate in. And then once you figure those out, 5 of them, 10 of them, 20 of them, I don't know, however many it takes. You want about 5,000 people that you're dealing with on a regular. And then I'd go learn everything I could about the neighborhood, about the market. And then I'd go talk to everybody as much as I could in that neighborhood about that market in those houses. And having been in those houses, in studying that market, you're going to know more than they do. And you're going to feel a little bit good about that. And you're going to have good conversations, follow the scripts, but you're going to come across as a trusted professional as opposed to a telemarketer or a surveyor or some whatever. All right. Now keep in mind, we're salespeople. We get paid to make sales. Don't lose that because we do. But the way you go at it, if you get a process down, study the market, preview the properties, all that, and then talk to the people, you'll have more meaningful conversations. Go for smaller wins. Small wins equal big wins. That's why we win the day so we can win the week, right?
Mhm.
Simple as that. You guys got anything else to add on that? Make it better?
Win the day.
Start today. Okay. Andrew, tell me something. Well, how'd it go yesterday? He had a meeting of the minds. Was that good?
Yeah, it actually was a good experience. And then we concluded the day going bowling. And, I'm not a big bowler. I haven't been bowling in 10 or 15 years, but one of our agents is actually on the wall, got a 300 score.
Wow.
And in order for you to do that, you got to get 12 strikes in a row. And here, I think I got 1 out of 12 frames. And it just takes the consistency and the practice and, getting your systems in place in order to accomplish something like that. So that gave me a little bit more respect for those.
Who is it? There's this guy chasing me around, wants to bowl against. Do you bowl somebody? Do you bowl against them? How does that work?
I don't know. I'm
Match
still-
is a match?
Whatever the highest score is. You could also win at most gutter balls.
I had a perfect score on gutter balls.
That's pretty easy, actually.
I have to use the bumpers.
Came down to the last roll and I got it like within 2.5 feet straight to the gutter. I was proud. All right, so here, back. Win the day, win the day, win the day. Figure out the neighborhoods you're going to dominate. And then go learn everything you can about them. And that includes previewing and studying market trends. And then go talk to every owner about what you know. Show me what that looks like. I'll guarantee you the grind will go away. The confidence will go up. And come Christmas time, it'll be good. Really good, I think. Got it?
Yep.
Oh, hey, last thing is Friday.
Good on the weekend.
Right? Yeah. Friday means, to Julie's point, create a small, create a goal. Big enough that you have to work toward, but easy enough that you can get it, such that you can go home today on the up. You did something, you accomplished something, you won. And you're going to go home, you're going to feel better. You're going to be smiling bigger. Sun's going to be brighter, sky bluer, all that stuff. And your loved ones are going to love you more. It's a good way to go into the weekend. All right. So do that. All right. Let's go. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
End the stream.